Professor T. Triada Samaras, and it's Wednesday, and I'd like to know how you're doing. As you see, I'm back indoors. It's not because I don't want to be outdoors, but my spring allergies have begun. I wonder if you have allergies. I'm laughing because I know you do. We have many trees in my neighborhood, and I start sneezing and my eyes are a little bit swollen and itchy because it's spring. But that's okay, right? Spring is a wonderful thing. And it's especially good in the time of COVID-19 to be going through springtime. Spring is when things bloom anew. And art is something like nature blooming. I want you to think about this, that making art or or writing poems, composing music, they are inventions of something new. Where do new things come from? Well, the plants, we know it's part of the cycle of nature, and they do it all by themselves. But human beings are very inventive. We can invent and create new things. So I moved my things to a new box. Look at all the things we've been creating. Have you been hanging on to your things like I've been hanging on to mine? I hang on to everything. Well, not everything, but. So you should have a box of growing things that you've made. And some of those things maybe are not finished, but that's okay. You can finish them another time. But this is kind of a little art portfolio of our works, right? And you can look back and say, I've done a lot of things with Professor T, and I'm proud of myself. Making things makes us feel better too as humans, because if we have a problem and we can solve it, we feel good. Whether that's an art problem or a cooking problem. Did you know that cooking is also like art making? Why am I showing you my Goya beans? Well, because I bought a lot of these before I stopped going outside. Chickpeas, I love chickpeas, but I'm getting sick of them now. And I need new ideas. So I need to go to YouTube or to the Food Channel and get new ideas for a new way to eat chickpeas. Same thing happens when we're creating a new book. Remember our new words book? We need to find new words, then drawings for the words, etc. Do you hear that truck outside? That's loud. I don't know if you can hear it. Like I told you, I live in the city and there's lots of noises here, but it's very much quieter than usual. Today I want to go back to something we made, which was color. I'm very interested in color because yesterday we were reading the Talking to Faith Ringgold book. And in the book, we were seeing very colorful quilts. Remember the Sonny Rollins quilt on the Brooklyn Bridge? And do you remember that she said this quilt was made of lots of pieces of colored paper? You can see white, black, red, yellow, and you can also see that pieces have been sewn together, fabric. But we can do something like this with cut paper, if we have the colored paper. That's a big if. You're at home and you may not have paint. That's why I invented, well, I didn't invent this. I showed you how to do this kind of paint. This was egg yolk and food color. Egg yolk, food color. And you can go back to the video where I made this. But since I made it, somebody told me, be careful because the egg can carry salmonella. Remember that word salmonella? My turtle could carry salmonella, so the same gloves I wear with my turtle. And for COVID-19, well, my other one's down here, you might want to work with a glove. And if you're afraid, even when it dries, You could take some hairspray and spray it right over. Something I wanted to tell you though about the color is it's very strong. I'm shocked. It's bright and it has a shiny surface. I like it very much. So you could take your egg and your watercolor and make colored paper by taking a piece of paper and just painting color from the paint. Like you could paint the red all over this paper and have a red sheet of paper, and then a blue sheet of paper. And you could mix colors, right? You could have a beautiful blue-green by mixing blue-green. So what if you don't have an egg, and what if you don't have food coloring, and what if you don't have paint? What is another way for we to make color? I'm tripping on my words today. I was thinking some of you might have markers. This is 2 markers together with a little bit of water on top. I'm going to show you how I did that, okay? So I did that in my box. Let me tell you something, that I made this in my box, and it has the pattern. It has the pattern of the box underneath, the corrugated cardboard pattern. You might like that. I actually don't like it. So I'm going to take all my artwork and put it in this box, and I'm going to use my other box, which is totally flat, to make my paper. All right? So I'm going to tape it down. By the way, I'm very lucky because when I was working at Don Bosco, my friend Robin bought this gorgeous duct tape for the bookmaking project. And I happened to have it at home because I took some of those supplies home. Check it out. So we can do something with that another day. But for now, I'm just using it to hold my paper up. We want a piece of colored paper. So you see? Now, I need my smock. Because why? I have a very nice shirt on, and I'm very messy. So I use an old shirt for smock, and I think you should too. So you could use gloves, and you could use an old shirt. You might want to use the gloves. You know why? Because making even that green, my finger turned all green. So I guess I will put it back on. All right, here we go. It's a little bit small. Woo! Okay, here we are. Now, I'm lucky. I'm an art teacher. I have a lot of markers. I can choose, let's see. Wow. Oh no, that's the same. In fact, I have 3 greens. I love that. How am I going to do it? I'm not going to use my tip because it's going to take forever. I'm not even using my gloved hand. I'm going to use the side of the marker. See that? The side. This edge is a chisel or a cone. You could see? You want to use as much pigment from the marker as you can. And maybe, this one's already drying out, I see, but that's okay. Keep going till it's all the way dried out. What you can do then is put another color on top, because the best color comes from mixing. So I'm going to mix that green. Oh, this one has a lot of pigment with this green, right? And maybe in some places I'll leave it all alone, but maybe like this will be my watery sky blue page. After this, how do I use the water? Well, I actually just took my finger. I had a cup of water. You don't have to have it like this. You put it someplace. You dip, right like that. or put a little water on the page and spread the color around a little bit. It doesn't exactly spread, but it spreads a bit. But as this is drying, I'm really liking that. So what I want you to do for this art project is create 2 or 3 kinds of paper with color. One of them should be in the blue range. One of them should be in the yellow range. And one of them should be, which is the other primary color? Yellow, blue, red range. The 3 primaries, yellow, blue, and red, but you can mix other things into them. All right, so let me try that here with which one? The red. Let's try the red. You could have one piece of paper with different colors on it too. Here's my red. Now what can I add to red? If we had a color wheel up right now, we would add a friend of the red. Friends of primaries are called analogous colors. It means something on the color wheel close to the red. Pink, orange. Let's try the orange. Here's my orange. Let me add it to the red. Ooh, that warms up the red, right? We call that a warm red. Little bit of water, spread that out. Ooh, this one's spreading better. Interesting. This one dragged out a little more. I think it's going to depend a lot on the type of paper you use. The thinnest paper, like printing paper for your computer, will spread less, but a thicker paper, like an art paper, probably spread more. What happened when the red met the green? What did we get? When the red met the green, we got a kind of, sort of a black. A very, very dark greenish red. Do you know why that happened? I'm going to explain right now. A color wheel will explain to you why that happened. Now let me do that color wheel in a bright color, red. A color wheel has 2 triangles in it. What do I mean? Here's triangle number 1. 3 primaries, red, blue, yellow. See red, blue, yellow? Why are they primaries? Why do we have something called primary colors? Because you cannot mix them yourself. You can't. Even if you try. Try to make pure red. You can't. Try to make a blue. The other triangle is upside down. In fact, it looks like a religious star. Oh, I didn't do it exactly right either. Oh well. These are the secondary colors. Red and yellow makes orange. Red and blue, purple. Blue and yellow, green. And then pretty much a circle goes around the whole thing. Whoa. I'm going to make the circle fat. Okay? Primaries, secondaries. Remember now I said analogous? Those are the colors between red and orange, between red and purple. Those are the friends of red. Across the red is the opposite color, the complement. The complementary color, where is my, oh yeah, it's right here. The complementary color makes the darkest between red and green. That's here. So it's a kind of black without using black. It's kind of interesting, right? Some of the most famous painters in the world, it looks like they used black in their paintings, but they didn't. They used mixtures of colors to look like black. And one of those artists is Henri Matisse, the French artist that we talked about in the Faith Ringgold book. Do you remember? Faith Ringgold and her mom and her children went to the Henri Matisse Chapel. Now this is not in color. Right here. This chapel is based on creating colored papers and then cutting them. Henri Matisse made colored paper in the hospital when he was very sick and he could not paint. And the colors he made were very beautiful, and then he cut them, which we will do once you've made your papers, to make a gorgeous collage. Okay? So think about covering your paper with marker and water. Some of you may not have that kind of water. That's a Crayola marker, a child's marker. Usually, is this one? It doesn't say much. It tells you the color. These are probably not washables. Oh, that's another reason. Put on your smock. But what about if you don't have washable markers that dissolve with water, but you have Sharpies? Sharpies do not dissolve with water, but they have great colors. How are you going to make a Sharpie make a whole page of paper and color? That's going to be a little more hard because the cone is so much smaller. Look at this. If I take a Sharpie, well, it's not bad. On the side, I'll show you what I mean about the water. The Sharpie pen is a permanent marker, a laundry pen, and water will not change it. So you would not add water for the Sharpie pens. You would only add water for the washable, not the washable markers, the Crayola markers. They're water-based markers. You could also do this with crayon. I don't have any crayons in my house. I was surprised, but I don't. You could make this sheet of paper with colored pencil. And even with the paints we made using, remember, egg yolk, food coloring. I wonder what would happen if, I'm always guessing things. What do you think would happen if you put down a mixture of whipped up egg yolk with marker? I need to ask my science professor, Dr. Ann, about what would happen. I'm really not sure, but that's a little bit of a science experiment for you. One thing to know about art and science are very close. You cannot make art without knowing something about science. So that's it for today. I'm being very careful of this egg. I don't want it to break on top of my dress or my smock. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.